Okay, everybody, welcome back. It is New Year's Eve for all of you out here in the places that celebrate it. We are going to be playing a little No Man's Sky today. I'm just doing a little bit here to set up the stream. As we cross over into the new year, I just wanted to remind everybody that we are going to be trying to get some streaming done, but I'm not sure how often we'll be streaming. Like I said, I'm trying to get some kind of schedule taken care of, dealing with a few things here and there. But quick reminder, if anybody missed it, I did post a video giving you guys kind of a channel update. I do apologize about the last video and the audio being a little wonky. I also apologize about chat. Um, I'm working with a single monitor setup these days, so can't really see chat and play the game at the same time. So if you guys throw a message out and I don't catch it on my secondary monitor, which is basically just my phone watching the stream, that's why I missed your message. But overall, that's where we are. Like I said, I did post that channel update video, and with that, I also made a bit of an announcement. I did write 2 novels. I am progressively working on a third. That is kind of where I am. If you guys didn't see that, definitely go ahead and check it out. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to verify audio and everything right now, so give me just a little bit to kind of figure out where things are. Like I said, you probably see this stuff real quick. I'm just trying to make sure I've got my stuff working properly and everything running where it needs to be. Gotta fix the stream. Where I wanted it. There we go. I had it, like I said, I was messing with OBS earlier. Didn't have everything completely situated, but we are going to go ahead and get into the game. Picking up where we left off, we are here. Looks like we had about an hour. Have to remember not to, run my 60-hour save. I got a lot more on the 60-hour save. Now, I have been noticing on Facebook and a few other places, the No Man's Sky page, whatnot, a lot of people coming in to play the new game, and they're asking questions like about freighters, stuff like that. To me, finding a pirate system and doing the pirate dreadnought battle is probably the best option. I think I'm getting an audio issue here, so give me just a second. I don't think my output's going to my headset, so it's probably really echoey. Probably guys aren't hearing anything with the game, so yeah, it's definitely just doing a little adjusting here, making sure we're getting audio feedback from the game and everything. Think we're okay now. Think we're okay now. Yeah, we got our audio back, so we're good there. Alright, so as far as where we left off, we are in Awakenings. We're basically just right here at the beginning. We have to locate the monolith, and I believe we have to travel to another system for that, so let's see, yep. Galaxy map, we'll find out where we need to go. Wants us to go here. Can I just say, this game is absolutely gorgeous, by the way. Even the fast travel stuff like this, the warps and stuff, just so vivid on colors. Now, the first thing I like to do when I get into a new system is, like this one was discovered by Dregen here. So, go ahead and we are going to, we're getting this communication. Okay. I mean, we can identify ourselves, it really doesn't matter. We'll apologize. So we're going to get some coordinates, and it's going to take us to a certain planetoid over here. Because of teleportation stuff and the way it works with the different space stations, as a rule, I usually like to go ahead and go over to the space stations and get space stations on the list. Because we may have to come back here for some reason. You don't have to do this, it's kind of something that I like to do. So we'll go ahead, we'll pop in here real quick, get out of the ship, get that nice little restore point saved. And we'll go ahead and pop back in. We'll go ahead and do the coordinate stuff. Looks like, ooh, radioactive, okay. This planet here is a desert planet. So what we're going to go ahead and do is line up the marker here, and then we'll hit the space bar to pulse. Get that time cut down. I don't know exactly how long the time dilation is. I haven't really tried to fly to a planet that says it's going to take an hour to fly there under normal propulsion to see if it actually takes an hour, but I assume it's pretty close. A lot of ships flying around. I'm not really moving too much either. The ship will kind of do it at once as you come into atmosphere. Just kind of let it go for a minute, and we get close, then I'll worry about it. get a landing sequence going. And it'll be like, hey, come over to this planet. So let's get our scanner out, and it wants us to go 276 view that way. Ooh, living fragments. Mine some of this stuff up, because this is a resource that we might need later. You can't kill the hazardous flora for oxygen. We'll grab some of that resource. Ooh, it looks like there's some unidentified stuff here, so we'll hit 1. And we'll throw none of it. We'll throw that in. It's always good to do this just because it's free units. Now I know a lot of people will have like really good luck with the anomaly, and people will be like giving them a bunch of really valuable stuff. I don't usually have that luck. So this is how we do it when you don't have good luck. Just go around, scan everything, get your biological entity stuff taken care of. Because at the end of the day, that's, you know, going to be probably your best bet for units and also nanites right when you're first starting. I know I said that in the first series, or the first episode, but I know my mic was messed up and wasn't broadcasting properly. That was my fault. I haven't plugged a mic into my PC in probably 2.5 years, so here you go. We're trying to get that biological entity there. Get that one. Ooh, we got some burbs. So I believe these are daytime birds, so he's just kind of phased into existence, so they exist in the daytime. Yeah. That is a big thing with these planets. If you're trying to 100% a planet for the animals on it, you want to make sure that you look at your planetary discoveries and look at your, like this is a diurnal, which is a daytime, and then always active type stuff here. Looks like there's a flying and a ground that we haven't seen yet. But this is 1500 nanites if we just find these two creatures, so it's kind of where we are. Now we're going to look, make sure we're heading the right direction-ish. Go ahead and keep letting go of the wrong one. So the other flying biological entity that's always active is that one. It looks like it's some kind of worm. And then we'll just need to find a ground species that we haven't seen yet. So definitely not that thing. It looks like a dinosaur. Now, because we're playing on relaxed, animal aggression is basically non-existent, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But if you're playing on a more survival mode type thing, you can have issues with animals just running up and attacking you for the sake of attacking you. I'm gonna go ahead and mark something. Ooh, a knowledge stone. We'll go check that out. Watch out for that plant. Yeah, these little red alerts mean these are hostile plants, and even when relaxed, you kind of have to deal with them, and they will hurt you. But yeah, we are getting like some knowledge stones and stuff. Those are good for languages and getting. So when you're talking to the aliens, your character will kind of translate what they want, but it's always good to actually have it translated. And getting all the words is kind of a fun little mini game for everything. Check this real quick. Looks like we're heading in this direction. I don't see anything, so I'm going to turn on the scanner for a second. Use the jetpack to get around. The biggest thing with these is when you're walking to places, you got to constantly check it. Because what it says, like, oh, it's 144 in that direction. Yeah. That that direction can change. I've had signals show up on the side of mountains and you just don't see them. Are you new? Okay. Yeah, see, like it says it's getting further away for some reason. Shouldn't be, but it does say it. And we basically are walking back the way we came at this point. I know, direction and the compass is kind of a pain, but yeah, our ship's right there. It's like, go that way. Okay. So somehow we walked 100 meters past where it was, or 100 U. Well, there it is. Looks like we got a down ship and a thing. Now, we could potentially repair a ship. Hit T on this because we don't need it. Find out what's in here. That's good nanites. Search all the boxes. Now, you can create Atlas passes later on in the game. It's something that we just don't have access to at the moment. Damage container. T on that. Open that up. Get what's in there. Cool. And we did get 10,000 KS for steps. We could investigate this and see what's wrong with it and if it's worthwhile to take it. Class B ship. It's pretty messed up. All these circuits require a bunch of material. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. I don't like the ship design personally. So that's where we're at with that. But let's get the signal real quick and see what we got. Okay, it's going to ask for sodium and chromatic metal. Okay, so we have a refiner. We don't have the metal plating for it, so let's go in here and make a metal plating. I think we still have some copper. Not sure. Yeah, we do. Alright, so we'll make our refiner real quick. We're just going to do this right here because I kind of prepared a little bit for this stuff. Throw some carbon in. And we're going to make chromatic metal. I don't remember. I think it was like 30. I'll make about 50. I think that'll probably be fine. Throw this in our exosuit, this in our starship. And I use T for the pickups on stuff. I don't use the middle mouse button. It doesn't work on my mouse for whatever reason. Alright, so we got that repaired. Now we can go ahead with the signal. Extract records. Artemis, okay. Ooh, mining beam. Okay. So, 2 wiring looms and carbon nanotubes. So, I believe we can do the carbon nanotubes right now. I don't believe we can do the other wiring looms. Hermetic seal, ion battery. No, we can't. So, we'll have to get those figured out now. Go to our multi-tool here, grab our mining beam, throw those 2 in, so we just need 2 wiring limbs. So it wants you to go ahead and summon your ship in right now, which is fine. It's not that far away, we could walk back, but we'll do it at ass. Now, before we leave this planet, because there is one more creature. Ground always active. So we'll look around real quick and we'll see if we can see that. think it would be that, but it's not. Scan that from a distance. Now I want to go over to... I want to go grab that knowledge stone. So, quick little tip I learned: if you explore around a planet for a while and you're looking for a specific species, find stuff that you want to look at on the planet, like say this knowledge stone. And if you fly over there, it kind of wipes out the spawns underneath you to a certain point, and you can maybe get some better stuff. Obviously, this is going to be a little too close for that, but I really wanted this knowledge stone. A lot of dangerous stuff around this one. So it just takes us the Vakeen word for whatever. See, you can notice there's living fragments or definitely corrupting sentinels and stuff. This, I believe, is a radiant shard. See, this is why we need the advanced mining laser that we just got the recipe for, is to pick up those. You shouldn't need them right away, but it's nice to always make sure you kind of mark stuff like that, even if you just commit it to memory. Buried tech, knowledge stone, humming sack. So this looks like it was a Vakeen planet from the knowledge stones, and you'll find ones that are like Gek and Korax and whatnot, but this one looks Vakeen. It wants us to go to space and go buy the knowledge stones. We could do that, but we can also fly around a little bit. Kind of get out of the spawn radius and let it respawn creatures. See if we can find that last creature, because those nanites are going to come in handy. That's all part of the exploration. Oop, ran into something. Piloting skills are horrible, especially in third person. Land here, we've flown a decent distance away. So if you notice now, we don't really have too many paw prints or red dots because we kind of respawned everything. So give it a second to load in and we'll see if we can find that last little dude. Yeah, see, these guys weren't here a minute ago and now they're here, so it takes a second for everything to kind of spawn in. Ooh, there's a trading station right there. Transmission tower. That's a good thing. Transmission towers are good for when we start getting into communications with other beings and whatnot that we have to for main quests, because we'll have to come back and check them out. Not seeing this last species. Unfortunate. So what you can do is if we're looking for the last species, it's going to tell us it's rare, it's ground, and it's always active. So we don't know what it is yet, but really haven't found too much on this planet, but we can go ahead and upload, and it's going to give us 106 nanites, even though we didn't find that big chunk. It looks like everything's pretty well labeled. The guy that did this system kind of plays the way I do. Flies to every planet, marks every one of them, gets them discovered. So that's a good thing. I would assume a rare ground species, though. That's going to be, well, probably something that's primarily underground. You'll get these ones that work like sharks or whatever, that kind of swim under the surface and then come back out. But we'll fly off planet, head to the space station real quick, and go from there. And we get a frequency. So Nada is our guy that's going to bring us into the multiplayer area, known as the Anomaly. That place can be really cool sometimes. So, real quick, before we go into there, I want to go ahead and move everything out of my inventory. There's a reason for this. If we happen to get into the Anomaly and a bunch of people start giving us stuff, we won't have space for it. I haven't seen it happen. I've seen like 1 or 2 things, but yeah, sometimes people can just give you stuff that's worth like hundreds of millions of credits and or units, and I'd kind of like to be one of those people one of these days. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move all this stuff to the starship. We'll move it back, but well, the stuff we need. Quick transfer really doesn't make that much difference. We'll leave the warp cell because it doesn't matter, and you can access these inventories once we go into the Anomaly if we need to sell anything or move stuff around. Anomaly doesn't really have vendors. They have the Quicksilver vendor, which is for cosmetics and your eggs for your living ships, but realistically there's, other than like the blueprint vendors, there's not much there, so selling stuff's kind of pointless. You usually do that on space stations. Rakeen dagger. Hang on to your Rakeen daggers too. You guys we'll see them and they'll kind of start taking up inventory space, but later on when you're doing your base building stuff and getting your different people up, one of your people will actually need Rakeen daggers. So doesn't really serve much purpose other than that, but it's something to just go ahead and hang on to. So we are coming in. We have clear inventory, and this is the Anomaly. And when you go to your X menu, you'll be able to actually go to your summons, and the Anomaly will be right here. So you can go ahead and summon it whatever galaxy you're in. It just kind of exists as a portal, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can always be summoned. I say always, but there's probably a few places it can't be, but I've never run into them. Or needed the Anomaly when I was in those places, so there you go. But yeah, here we are. It looks like we got a few people here. Corvette people and stuff, so... And here we are in the multiplayer area, so every one of these ships and stuff are different actual real-world players. So that's a good thing to have. There's these guys walking around and got expedition stuff, like this guy has a staff. As far as the Anomaly goes, you got your Quicksilver vendor over here. You can do missions. A lot of them you can do solo. There are some that you can do group-wise, but a lot of them you can do solo. We might do a mission real quick. Ooh, we don't have jetpack at all. So we'll have to walk around. But as we're moving around in here, we will go ahead and just kind of wait. You'll notice on the side of the screen when it starts, if it starts happening, all of a sudden there'll just be a bunch of stuff dropped in inventory from other players. But we'll talk to Nada before we get there. So I'm gonna go ahead. I've already know pretty much everything about this, but we'll go ahead and click through each one of these just, for the sake of the stream. Okay, so the Sentinels are basically the bad guy machines that you have to deal with. The Atlas is, we'll call him God. And he's got nothing more to say to us. So we'll have to go over and speak to Polo, get Polo's thought process on everything. So, what he wants you to do is basically just go talk to everybody. So we'll come down here, and we have this guy. This is a cooking station. There's a lot of recipes in here to learn stuff. We don't really have anything to do with him right now because we don't have a lot of food. Ares will give us stuff based on certain progress we make. And we can go ahead and give him the milestone data that we have, and he will go ahead and give us nanites. The nice thing is everything around here is kind of marked, so you know who you have to talk to. This guy's literally a freaking tree person. I always thought this guy was crazy. Alright, so the reason why it wants you, I was saying, to get all the nanites and stuff, we can talk to those too, but there's really not much reason to right now, is technology blueprints. So up here in the area, and I know that menu being open is kind of annoying, but for the sake of the stream, we'll go ahead and just go through this quest as if you didn't know what you were going on. So get our exosuit upgrade, and it's going to ask, see everything in here costs a little nanite currency. That's why nanites are so important. We can go ahead and get stuff. Let's get that. The idea is we want to own pretty much all of that stuff. Construction research, cylindrical room. We don't have salvage models for it, so we can't really do too much there. A&D is going to change these pages. So the buried technology modules will give you the salvage data that you need. The prefabs, like these cuboid rooms and stuff, these are great for building bases. I really should have probably grabbed a few technology modules for that. Nutrient processor for food. Bigger refiners, landing pads, stuff like that for base parts. We will need to come back and get the Geo Bay for the roamer. I have one on my other save. I haven't really used it. But we will go ahead and hop back over to Artemis and see what we have there. Like I said, or to Nada and talk to him about Artemis. So we can ask about all this stuff. It's all pretty generic stuff. So community research, I believe, I'm going to log here, is this one. It's based on completing missions in the Nexus. So we'll have a few more. If you notice, we have 3 different missions for primaries now. You can complete these in any order you like. It really doesn't matter. I tend to do Artemis first, just for the sake of argument. But if you want, you can do Atlas first. You can do Beyond the System first. So it's entirely up to you as the player to do whatever you want. Alone Amongst the Stars, which is the Artemis one, you just got to go back to space. So we'll just go ahead and pick that one up. So you can go into the Nexus here, and 715. Okay, so Fecium is basically animal droppings. That's a lot. But you can see here with the Nexus missions. Now that one gives you Quicksilver, which, like I said, we can go over to that gentleman over there. These change. It's the week. It's a weekday, so this is like 400. Sometime on the weekends they're like 1600. So weird. We got kind of stuck, it looks like. Oh no, we got stuck. That's not good. Alright, so what we're going to do real quick is, because we just got stuck, is we'll reload our autosave. I think somebody launched a Nexus mission while we were in there, so... yeah, it's, like I said, a little weird. I think it says we were in space, and we're not actually in space. But if you go in here, you can get exotic items. Each one of these costs us varying amount of Quicksilver. About the only thing in here that is really important is the Void Egg. If you're first starting out, I would save for this before you buy anything else. Everything else is banners, you know, backgrounds, stuff like that, little trinkets and whatnot, gestures, base building parts. But yeah, I would go ahead and focus on the Void Egg if you're coming into here. Like I said, the Nexus mission, that Fecium one, that's rough. I don't know if we could do that. We can try. Oh, hunt dangerous pirates. Okay. It looks like somebody's getting ready to do that one, so I don't mind doing stuff with other players, but sometimes it's just easier when you're first starting out to do the solo ones. But real quick, we'll check our exosuit inventory, and we got nothing. So that's kind of how that worked. I'll move my ammunition back down in here. I don't think anything else is really that important at the moment. And we'll get our thing. Unknown signal. And this would be Artemis. So, like I said, you can follow any path you want. I just like following Artemis right off the bat because I think the story's better. So we'll get the point about boosting the signal. Our base computer archives will come back. Like I said, the anomaly will stay here. But if we want, we can go back to log and make sure that we select the Artemis one. Now we just came from the desert planet, and if you remember right, we've seen that that transmission tower, so we'll scan this real quick and it'll give us the hollow terminus location. Looks like it's going to be on another planet. Oof, that's a radioactive planet. That's going to be rough. Now this is where if you were on survival mode, it would definitely beseech you to make sure you're prepared for this. Since we're relaxed, we can just go ahead and zip down to the planet real quick and deal with the radiation. It's not that big a deal. Your sodium, radiation protection type stuff, that's all. Where that comes into being important. Because this is not going to be where we are currently going to land by any means. It's just kind of how it works. Actually pretty close. We got lucky with this one. It's actually right here, so that's a good thing. Now these little landing areas with little blue circles, it doesn't cost you any launch fuel to take off from here. So that's why if you find them, definitely grab them. Do the finalizing signal real quick, even though we know it's right here, just because it's necessary. Now, rad planets do actually have wildlife. As you can see, some of it's horrifying. They don't have a lot of wildlife, but they do have wildlife. So real quick, while we're here, because usually these planets are not very life-friendly. You don't have a real abundant source of life, but yeah, these things are, they're something. So I'm listening for that click, if you guys can hear that. The scanner, it's kind of like a low-level click that just goes, okay, that you're on the target. Yeah, we got 6 here. It's not terrible. Copper deposit. Uranium. Probably some knowledge stones. So that click's going off because I keep hitting that unknown freaking material as well, so that's why I'm listening for it. But we'll need to go up on top of that. Yeah, we got 5.5 rad, which is not terrible, I mean realistically. And we can go ahead and hit this beacon right here, chart the sector. Give us some nav data, stuff like that. I personally don't know what that does other than nav data, because I've actually placed stuff around those sectors to kind of save, you know, like a mining outpost or something, and I can't find the sectors. I've lost so many surface miners or atmo collectors because I just couldn't find them. I'm still kind of scanning as we get higher. Sometimes you can get some of the creatures that you couldn't really see before. You do have a fairly decent scanner range. It's not awesome, but it gets better. But let's go ahead and talk to Artemis real quick. It's going to want some sodium, which we have. And the only frequency we can tune into right now is Artemis. There are others we can talk to, but right now Artemis is the only one. And this thing's cool. Hello, Artemis. Artemis is kind of cool looking. Looks like somebody else is coming down to this area. Probably to do the same thing we're doing. Nope. We'll go ahead and agree to whatever they want. I know what's actually going on with Artemis, and it's rather unfortunate that we have to help them, but we do. So what we do here is we're going to go ahead and I believe we needed a metal plating. Is we can build this signal booster right here. We don't actually have to go anywhere, which is nice. So I'll pick this up. And then it's going to want us to go off planet. Which is kind of what we figured. Like I said, this is where that dedication comes into finding all the species. Sometimes you can be on a planet for hours and not find that one species. If we look in discoveries, though, and see what we're looking for, it is an always active rare ground and underground. I don't see any caves right now, so I don't really want to go that way. Oop, jetpack saved life. But we'll go ahead and head off planet real quick. Probably shouldn't have used my pulse drive that for getting close to Atmo, but the radiation planet anyways, so should be fine. Looks like we're going to get a exosuit upgrade. And carbon nanotube there, and antimatter housing there. So need to make a nanotube. Alright, so here's where we're going to get like our exosuit upgrade or technology upgrades. I'm going to go ahead and go with a exosuit position. We'll probably get it need for it faster. You can do this at the space station too. You can expand your stuff. This one's just basically a few materials. It's free. And a real quick scan. We got a creature. New discovery, 6 of 6. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. So if we go here to fauna, we can go ahead and do that, and now we just got all those nanites. This thing looks like a tiger. It's kind of weird. But since we've already been to this planet, it's negative 74 degrees Fahrenheit on this planet, by the way. Alright, we'll get the signal booster out. Run it real quick, triangulate. Okay. Pick that thing up. Looks like we're just going back and forth, which is whatever. The sheer speed we're traveling at, though, is insane. Starting to reorient myself as I come in for landings just because it's easier. Yay. And we get a free landing spot. That's a good thing. Now this is a base area. If you're going to find undergrounds, usually you find them right around the base areas, but what I like to do is just go through and grab all the little side stuff as we go, just because it's extra nanites and extra stuff. Find the door. Get nanites for that. Research specimen is going to give us probably some standing. I would assume the Vakeen, because they're pretty much the ones that we're around for. But yeah, you can find like caves and stuff. I think possible there's a cave like right there. But real quick, we're gonna do a scan because remember we have creatures. Like there's a creature over here we need to scan, and I believe the last one on this planet was underground. So what we'll do real quick is we'll go ahead and go to this station, do what we need to do here, and that alert thing is the sentinel. So if we were to fighting mood, we could actually fight that and shoot that down, but we are not in a fighting mood at the moment. We may have to fight it anyways because reasons, but our first Vakeen freaking explorer. I think we have ferrite dust. So if you, sometimes you can find really good multi-tools from these people, but helps find encrypted navigation data. And of course we have the puzzles. Ugh. The navigation puzzles are a little rough. Oh, we met 10 aliens finally. Usually I do that on the space stations. Alright, so it's going to give you the sequence. So it's rotating, so I believe it should be 2170. Yep. Those puzzles aren't terrible, but I think I failed more than I've actually achieved. It's going to give us a signal for an ancient structure we can go look at. Yeah, we've ranked up with a key. Look at that. Before we leave, we need to do the signal booster and triangulate.
Navigational data received.
Now, the last creature, remember, we said on this planet was underground. I don't see it. Sometimes you can see it if you scan around underground. I've actually found some just by digging tunnels. But I think if we go over here, there should be a cave entrance. He's usually pretty close to a settlement, so kind of look around. And we'll grab the sodium plant while we're here. Look around, come down underground a little bit. This also helps with your rads. If you notice, my rads are a lot better now. Also, if you're getting into a fight with sentinels and your health starts dropping a lot, or you just want to be done with the fight, you can dig underground and run away. Very helpful. Looks like we ran into solid stone there, so a vigilant stone. Like I said, if we would be able to see it, sometimes you can scan it through the ground and you can see where it's exactly located and kind of head in that direction. I use T when I do big terrain stuff because it's just easier to walk to max out the beam. So remember, when you're mining a resource node, try and hit R with your terrain manipulator, make it as small as possible. But if you're just like going for an adventure underground, T is your best friend. Make it bigger. Now, as far as console, I don't have the controls for controller at the moment memorized, but for keyboard, that's how I have it set up. It works pretty well. It should be default. I am not seeing that underground path. There should be one around here.
Radiation protection void.
I think it was a rare underground as well, so the odds of us finding it are kind of wonky. And I don't want to do the save scumming and manipulating right now. We'll head towards the ancient artifact area, and we'll have to deal with Artemis before we get there, so. So it'll give us nav data to a yeah, it gives us nav data to the hollow terminus, which is on the planet we're going to anyways. But I want to go to this ancient ruin real quick, just kind of give you guys an idea what these are. We could start recruiting ships, actually. We don't really have the funds for it, but we could start recruiting ships for a fleet. You can actually build a fleet like the one that's in the upper right-hand corner. You can get a massive fleet going later on here in the game. I am hoping we find a pirate system before we get to that, though. Not just like a pirate attack, but an actual pirate system with a dreadnought. I believe it's every 3 hours in a pirate system you can find a dreadnought map. And yeah, it'll take 6 hours to get there if I don't pulse. I probably should pulse. Gonna hit X real quick, recharge. Ooh, we are out of tritium. So we're gonna need to find probably an asteroid field here soon. Your best bet is to go ahead and if you're running low on something like tritium or something, you just go ahead and find an asteroid belt and just shoot stuff. It makes it so much easier. Can't believe I ran out. This is an approximate. Looks like it. Now, the approximate locations, if you noticed, I flew over a different area over here. Just want to kind of see where we're dealing with. Plus, I don't want to waste anything on my launch thrusters if I can, because I'm already running out of supplies. I think I found everything on this planet too. Yep, we got an ancient ruin over here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this. There should be a bunch of these knowledge stones and whatnots. Some of these are puzzles, and yes, they can hurt you if you get them wrong, so just be aware of that. But a couple of free knowledge stones is not going to say no to that. Those are words we don't have to look for or ask for, you know, translation assistance later. Okay, so this one is gonna be so we can seek help with language or knowledge of the past. I pick language. Yes, it's a waste of sometimes a waste of story, but it's kind of what I do. And like I said, I just want to check. Yeah, we do have a fauna on this one. Alright, let's run back to our ship. There's an underground cave right here. Be nice to find those, you know, when we're looking for them, but that looks hostile. Yeah, that's radioactive. And that was hazardous. Just walked right into that potato head moment. Now, since we're here, we can go ahead and explore around a little bit. Sometimes you can find stuff like your tritium for your pulse engines and stuff just laying on the ground or in these boxes, so it's always good to check everything when you land on a spot like this, because this stuff is here for you to, you know, find. Projectile ammunition, oxygen, sodium, junk. There's a microprocessor don't have to buy. Starship launch fuel, which is good because we were going to run a little bit out of those. Staying with the Fakine increase because of the research specimen. Now there's a guy literally right there, but apparently he didn't want to come get the research specimen. Spare nanites, always good thing to have. Alright, let's head off to our other location on the planet, go talk to Artemis. Oof, an hour. And that's at our current starship speed, which is like 300. We don't have the pulse fuel to be pulsing there, unfortunately, so this might take a second. This planet is just a lovely shade of purple. Let's head into upper orbit and see if we can... Oop, looks like we got a few... I think these are silver. Yeah, they're silver. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's not what we're looking for, unfortunately. Travel a lot faster in space, even if we can't pulse. I mean, it would be a couple of seconds, but... And yeah, I know I'm all over the map. Stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch starship view. It makes it a little easier for me to steer the ship. Probably run out of pulse fuel doing this, but let's go ahead and just get close. I think this should be the same one we went to before, but sometimes they're different hollow terminuses. At any rate, we should have a nice little landing spot. Yep, there it is. Perfect. Yeah, it looks like the same one, but maybe not. Still negative 70 degrees outside. So first thing we'll do is we'll go in and we'll just snatch up all the stuff we can snatch up. It doesn't have any lights on. BCM. Animal droppings, by the way, in case you were wondering. Turn the light off. That seems like a kind of a weird quirk, but I usually try to change the environment around something I've already cleared. Obviously, the flames go away from damaged machinery, but you know, turning a light off, if I glance at it from in the sky and I'm flying over it and the light off, it says, hey, I already checked that one. Okay, we'll talk to Artemis again. Give her the data, because she's going to be like, that's, you know, doesn't make any sense. Alright, so what we got is we got Artemis's translator. So we can go ahead and throw that in the multi-tool, and we have the parts for it, so it's a grade C item. Okay, I guess. Universal translators really don't help that much unless you learn the words, but it'll give you the, you know, knowledge stones and whatnot. Auto translator. And there should be an alien outpost somewhere close.
Now protection falling.
It is that way. Lovely. Alrighty, where is our spaceship? Gonna grab these real quick just so we clear this area completely. Coverx casting, not gonna help. White boxes here, I believe, are always health. I mean, if you need health, it's a great option, but I don't think we'll need any. Alright, where is our alien outpost? It says approximate location, so we'll have to look around. You can kind of do some mining with your starship too, if you shoot the ground, but I don't like doing it. Like, we got some ferrite dust from that. So it's going to give us an approximate sweep, and it's going to be 325U that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and like launch and then kind of head this direction. See if we can do this without having to walk. It's not going to work, but we're going to try it. Yeah, now we're 900 U away from it. So that's why I try to not do that. So we're only going 20 U a second, so... Looking for an alien outpost, and I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably right here. Nope, we don't have our scanner anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and say I'm probably right. But we'll search a few boxes. Give Coveract castings and Gek relics to creatures to make them like you more, so picking up a few of them is not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, this was the correct spot, which is kind of what I thought. Now, this guy does sell a new multi-tool, it looks like. We got some nanites here we can grab. There's a vendor here. I wonder if he has the wiring looms we need for that upgraded technology module. I doubt it. Yeah, it's just blueprints, but we'll check components real quick. He does have a wiring loom. It's only one, but we'll grab it. So exosuit upgrade charts are kind of like that free one we got, where just you have to fix some stuff and then it just goes ahead and says, oh yeah, we got it. Alright, let's go here. Alright, so we did get a chart, which is going to give us an ancient relic, which should give us more of the stuff that we need for our calibration. Sadly enough, I think we're still in a tutorial, because it still teaches you everything. But it looks like we do have a knowledge stone over there. That is an interesting structure. I wonder if that's a player base. Just skirt around real quick here. Yeah, look at that thing. What are you? As a landing sequence, I'm going to stop here real quick. I don't know if this is a player base or if this is a trading post, so... Go look around. I think it's a trading post. Remember, we still need that wiring room, so... Yeah, it's Ancient Vault. Okay, so we need one of these. It's not ideal to spend money on stuff like that, but what we can do is we can go to our multi-tool and finish the upgrade on our advanced mining laser. Now we can mine all the different stuff. Some of the minerals we were not allowed to actually mine. Okay, this guy is... he's like a bounty hunter type guy. This is our Galactic Trade Terminal. Okay, so we'll request dialogue help with these guys. Just learn a few more words. Kind of a cheesy way of doing this. We may not need to actually go to the ancient site. We will, but shouldn't have to. because I think that should complete our mission. We can go in here, access the archive. I just guessed. Kind of a cool little lore dump type thing. You can find these all over the place. So yeah, just randomly talking to those guys got us what we needed. Got over 15 words. We have trade station guys, like this guy working on his ship. Yeah, we already completed the translator and we didn't even have to go to the ancient site. We will, but we didn't have to. That's the thing. I'm sure it's going to tell us to go back to that outpost anyways, but nope, it's going to find a new one. And it seems to be on the way. 6 minutes to that, 2 minutes to that, so. Ooh, a downed freighter. So we could stop here and pick up some stuff, but I'm gonna stop and bother. I wonder if there's a... Alright, so what I'm going to look for when we go back to orbit, I think, is we're going to look for a planet with rings, because we can find asteroids usually in a ring planet, because we need to get our pulse engines back up online. That was poor planning on my fault. Yay, we don't have to scan for it, it's just right here. Yep, should be fine. Request some dialogue help, they're going to tell me something and it's going to be kind of depressing. We don't have any effigies, so... That's unfortunately the problem, is we don't have the actual stuff we need to give these guys. Like I said, the Bikini daggers are great for our own stuff, but we need effigies for these guys to get our stuff up. I will go ahead and learn some words though. Just makes it easier to talk to them. These sentences start making a little more sense. Check the Galactic Trade Terminal real quick and see if we've got any effigies in here. Sometimes you can just buy them. Yeah, it's gonna force us to do stuff the hard way, unfortunately. So it looks like we need to head to orbit. Unfortunate. I think we can go grab that knowledge stone as well to do it. And our milestone is 20 words. Apparently 20 words all it takes to be fluent. We head up to orbit, it'll make this travel a little faster. Is that some... Alright, we found a couple asteroids. It's not much, but that will help with our pulse engine a little bit. Swing around here. There is a... I'm trying to be careful not to let a stray laser hit the starships, because that would be bad. But we do need the supplies, so if we can get some of that, will be good. The relic is there. That's what we were after. And obviously it's telling us we need to go talk to Artemis again in the anomaly, so... Alrighty, got our ancient plaque. Check this out real quick. We had some, yep.
Technology recharge.
Pulse engines. Where'd it go? Tritium. Haha, now we can do whatever we need to do. Doesn't take much, but... Ooh, that's a nasty underground. Hang on. Is this the planet we didn't have all of them? No, of course we have all of them on this planet. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and bring the anomaly to us so we can go talk to Nada. So many people here. Guys out there with their custom Corvettes. Expedition rewards? What the heck is it talking about? We haven't done any expeditions, but I will go check. Oh dear. It seems my other save files kind of bled over here. So we can actually get some pretty cool stuff right off the bat if we want. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll just grab a bunch of cool stuff. I didn't even think about this.
Collectible received. 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 Collectible received.
Ooh, that's a fancy looking thing, isn't it? So we're just gonna add it to our collection. Now that's obviously not the one we want, but that's what we're after.
Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received.
Yeah, we're gonna get a cheesy, cheeky thing because I did all the expedition rewards on my other playthrough. I have all this stuff.
Collectible received.
So we can actually get pretty far up. This one, so this is where it's going to get a little bit iffy. Some of the stuff requires nanites to get, and yeah. A lot of the stuff's just visual.
Collectible received. 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 Collectible received.
Ooh, we can just get a frigate.
Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received.
Now we do want this multi-tool. It's a Class A multi-tool, and it's actually a really good one. If you notice, I'm avoiding the ships right now because I don't want to grab stuff that's not going to work right away.
Collectible received.
Most of the stuff's just going to be decoration type stuff for base building.
Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible
I
received.
forgot I had all this stuff with the expedition stuff taken care of. So that's right there, makes sense. So organic frigate, we don't have a freighter yet, so that's why. So we'll go ahead and grab all this stuff. Well, the stuff we can. And yes, that's the Normandy. The expedition. Ooh, that's actually a problem. So we have... I'm gonna grab this starship. It's gonna bump us up a little bit. Actually, quite a bit. But, what did we fill our inventory with? Oh. A bunch of Corvette parts and stuff. And companion eggs. So eggs are kind of a thing. You don't really have anywhere to store this stuff, unfortunately. Now the downside to this is we didn't actually do our cargo split, so we're gonna have to deal with a lot of stuff like launch fuel and whatnot. But we do have a new ship, which is definitely something nice. Like I said, this is kind of the second playthrough perks. Oh, we can actually just hatch this one right now. Nope, now we just got a guy. We just got a little guy. Little mechanical mouse guy. That wants ion batteries as a thing. Yeah, we don't have ion batteries to give that thing as a pet, so we need to definitely think about that. Now, we could build a Corvette right away if we wanted to, because we have pretty much all the parts to build a basic Corvette, but we're not on that mission yet, so I'm just gonna stick this stuff in the inventory for now. Give us some more spaces. There's a couple things we kind of missed. Hey, I'm not going to deny it. I forgot this actually existed and we could actually just kind of advance. So, expeditions happen every once in a while. Usually the wiki and the various websites for No Man's Sky will keep you updated on what expeditions are going at what time, or you can just come to the anomaly and find out what expeditions are going. They're pretty substantial missions for the most part, but I mean the rewards are pretty awesome. Just put these drives and stuff in here. Don't really have enough, but now we got a really cool kick-ass multi-tool. I was gonna look at that anyways. Alright, so we've got quite a nasty multi-tool. It's only Class A. We can actually make this Class S. But what we do have is this ship now. Now, there's like 5 or 6 other ships. I just didn't have the nanites to get all of them. But realistically, I mean, living ship. that thing's gonna freak out for a while because we did the picked up all that stuff, and I didn't even pick up everything. I'll pick up the other stuff later. Alright, so that's the space anomaly mission. But we want to go to Artemis. And do this one. So it's going to ask us to go to... Oh, there, yeah. And because we got our standing improved, we actually can do this really quick. Organic ships are just a lot easier to deal with. Materials you need to refuel them and whatnot are definitely a little bit less headache. I know I got mine easy. We'll still do the hard one and get an actual living ship egg from Quicksilver. It's just going to take us a little bit. But for now, since we have the sun, yes, that is a beauty. Definitely worth the expedition to get that thing. And that's a great thing about this game too, is you can literally do stuff in the order you want to do it in. You're not restricted to a specific path. I've heard people have had like 1,000+ hours in this game and haven't completed the get to the center of the galaxy main primary mission once. Alright, so basically what happened is Artemis's star chart doesn't register with the Makine, and obviously since we found our first starship in basically the known system of this galaxy, that means that they don't know where it is. That's why I said this gets kind of dark really quick. So basically, Artemis is in a place that doesn't exist. Do with that what you will. I could spoil it, but it shouldn't be too hard to figure out where Artemis actually is. Okay, so we're going to have Apollo to talk to now. So what it wants us to do is basically talk to this is the other reason I didn't pick everything up, because I already knew that once I flew down I was going to have to go back to the anomaly. So I'll have to talk to him again. But we're going to go over here and talk to the tree guy real quick and grab some expedition rewards.
Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received. Collectible received.
So basically everything else we have to grab in here we'll get after we get the frigate. But yeah, it's just a quick way to get a bunch of stuff. He's already run a completion and went through all the expeditions. Oh, there's so many expeditions. And they are usually a couple of times a year. I find Normandy's usually easiest to get around November, around N7 day. Usually when that pops up. And we just got Quicksilver. So the nice thing would be to be able to go get a frigate, because if we have a frigate, then we can make life a lot easier. So we'll keep on with that. If you notice, I keep changing this back. We could go do base computer archives, but we're not going to. Alright, we seem to have found a hollow terminus on that planet over there. That's the Rad planet, isn't it? Yeah. Let's go ahead and pulse through. Okay, so interesting thing. We know that Apollo stuff's right there, but approximate location puts us right next to this monolith, and we love monoliths because monoliths have things that we like knowledge stones and ways to just learn more words and stuff about everything. It obviously did not want what we gave it. Run. The little whirlwind right there is basically a rat storm. Don't want to get caught in that. Now, we should have already come to this one, it looks like, but we'll go ahead and do the checks. Yeah, it'd be so nice to turn off the sprint drag. Do the save and chart real quick, not that it matters, but it was here. Any nanites we can get. Because remember, we've got like 9 or 10 ships we have to go grab. Oop. An encyclopedia. That's another word. That's the other reason I check those areas, is because we always have the chance of something being there. And I do tend to walk up these a lot slower than I probably should, but I've ran off the side of them so many times, it's kind of a tick. You'd think you just, if you auto-grab the ladder when you're walking normally, you think if sprinting you just auto-grab the ladder, but it's not the case, unfortunately. Alright. Let's talk to Apollo. Doesn't really matter what you say to him. I'm gonna start using the keypad for stuff like that. We'll accept. We always accept. It's kind of how this mission works. Alright. Looks like we got somebody landing. That's probably random trader. Sometimes you get those where they just chill up. Somebody land on the planet and be like, hey, you want to buy something? That's what it looks like. Yeah. Alright. Ship's over to the monolith, which is unfortunate. Jetpack after we fall, because I'm not crazy. I'm going to take all that damage. Now I find in games like this I actually get like a little bit of vertigo from falling, but this one don't usually have that problem. Don't get that, you know, roller coaster stomach churn. like I do with other games that have falling animations. So if you notice, I do that. Hey, an ion battery. If I didn't want to, use that for productive things, I could give it to my little mouse friend. You can actually tame almost every creature on every planet. It's just... why would you want to? Alright. They want us to go over here. Maybe we'll get lucky and this guy will actually be in a pirate system and we can get that freighter. Then we can go get our frigates. Start doing actual freighter stuff. I doubt it though. Probably won't get that lucky. I think I was like 8 or 10 systems in when I finally found a pirate system on my first playthrough. But... and it wants us to go straight to the space station. Ooh, first contact. You know what that means? We could actually, like, probably do this whole system. Yep, these are unknown planets. We could do this whole system and actually get all the discovery stuff for it. Make it look like that Gavain system we just left, where we actually are the one that discovered everything. Now, I know there's some really good multi-tools in like other galaxies. The Euclid Galaxy, this is probably the best multi-tool, or one of the best ones, so. I have no idea, so I'm just gonna go talk. I don't remember where our base is. So we're gonna go ahead and get a bunch of stuff. Hey, we got a Gek. What's the Gek system? You know what that means? Dialect help. Yay! Met 20 aliens. Anything we can do to make life easier is going to be better. I mean, we could get an auto translator and that'd be great, but we'd still have to do this. So I don't think we know very many words in Korvax language, so this could be very helpful. The Gek are so freaking weird. They're like little bird creatures almost. And what do we got? This is the... is this Merchants Union? Yes. So as you gain standing with these, you can actually get free stuff. I haven't really done too much with it even on my other playthrough. Getting standings up with the guilds are really beneficial, though, if you want to get to a certain point. Okay. Now, we could do... Ooh. We learned 30 words. So each one of these milestones has like 10 upgrades. But what we could do is we could go in here and do another exosuit upgrade. This one's actually fairly cheap at 1,600 units, so I should take storage space, but I want modules. As you progress through the game, you can actually get stuff, and multi-tool's the same way. If I wanted to increase the class, it's like 16,000 nanites, 3 million units for a new slot, because this is a very, very high-end class upgrade. But we can go do missions to get the actual expansion slots, if we want to. And speaking of missions, what do we got down here? 5 ion batteries, explorer standings. So here's how you can get your like different standings. Kill 4 sentinels for the Merchants Guild. Feed creatures, pyrite. Not going to go ahead and do any of those, but we could. What I am going to do is go to our outpost. Now, what's cool is like we've got all these recent stuff, but this is our base. So these are the 3 space stations that we visited. Unfortunately, only visited 3. It looks like we have access to a lot of stuff. Now, I've hit and miss with a lot of these as far as which one you can actually go to, but these are other player bases and whatnot. Like I said, it's been hit and miss as whether or not you can actually load to them. Some of them you can, some you can't. Alright. So we need to do a construction terminal, which we need chromatic metal and pure ferrite for. Huh, cool. So yeah, we got a bunch of new stuff when we got the upgrades. A lot of them were decorations, flags, a bunch of new stuff in here. That was all that stuff I did for the expedition rewards. So all the different plaques and posters. We do some crazy base decorating if we wanted to. But it was chromatic metal and pure ferrite. I don't even know if I have any copper on me because I think it was on the other ship. Eee. Good question. What I can do though is real quick throw this in. So like the runaway mold and stuff, all that stuff I've been trashing, the biscuit fluids, whatnot, you can actually get it to go down to nanite clusters. So if you have some of that junk stuff, you can refine it and get it down to nanites. Yeah, copper's a problem. I unfortunately probably didn't think too far ahead. on this world. Sodium, paraffin, a knowledge stone. Should probably grab those. I don't remember if this planet has copper on it or not, unfortunately. I don't think it does. Our ship automatically comes here even though we teleported from the anomaly. I'm gonna grab that knowledge stone real quick though, because it's there. Jettison pod, unknown building, health restorative. Yeah, I don't think this planet has what we need. A lot of knowledge stones. I'm gonna fall in a hole. I should pay attention to where I'm walking. Temperature? Yeah, it's actually a fairly decent planet. The dead planet has copper. We can go to the dead planet. Make our chromatic metal real quick. We actually have an ancient ruin on this planet that we didn't do anything with either. That was for the first stream. Now with the advanced mining laser, the other nice thing is, yeah, get our first trade message. What are you looking for there, buddy? Sure, here. Random standing. Sounds like we got another milestone too. Probably Korvax standing, or Bakeen standing. I like Korvax to me though. Wasn't really paying that much attention. Alright. So the first thing we're going to look around for is copper deposit, because we need that for... That one's the closest. Copper, 1200, yeah. 500. That one's actually the closer one. Alright. So let's get this ancient structure taken care of real quick. We got an upgrade module. Okay. Tox protection of some sort. Oh, it's probably from that guy we helped. Alright, see what we got here. I mean, we'll take it. Gonna make the beam small because we need copper for this base building thing. Probably should check our base computer archives when we get back to it. I need 40 chromatic metal, so it probably is this entire deposit. I know, mining is like the most boring thing. But then again, there's entire freaking channels dedicated to playing nothing but Minecraft and doing nothing but mining, so somebody out there likes it. The big concentration too. It's probably for the best for strip mining the dead planet, right? Strip mine our own planet, we'd have a freaking planet full of holes. Now I've heard that nodes respawn. I don't know how long it takes. To be honest with you, I just go find a new node. I don't even try to wait for a respawn. Alright. Well, there's one copper node. Oops. To remember I have all those weapons now. grab some ferrite on my way because I don't know if I have enough. What the? That does not show up as a deposit. It's over there. It says copper deposit. Deposit is massive. Jesus. I mean, it wouldn't be enough to say we didn't have to mine copper the rest of the game, but that's a massive deposit. Jesus. But 2 separate veins right there? Yeah. Okay. Well, before we go too much further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this down. Because we do have the copper deposit right here. I'm going to go ahead and see how much pure ferrite we can, or chromatic metal we can get. Because we need 40 for the base. We need pure ferrite too, so. Since I'm going to use 700 copper, I'm going to go ahead and at least grab one of these. I might grab both of them, honestly. Because they don't look like they're as big. That last one though, because we used a small beam, got us 700 copper from 0. That's a benefit. If we'd used a big beam, it would have been like 100. Yeah, I want to go ahead and grab these because there's no reason not to. This one's a lot bigger than the other one though. So this one might actually be closer to that 700 node. Because I'm not even through it, I'm basically drilling straight through. Yes, it's just absolutely massive copper amounts right here. One downside about mining is you know, your finger goes numb when you get into these big freaking deposits. Because you're just constantly holding pressure down. Train manipulators don't overheat, and I think, honestly, that's kind of odd. Your mining laser does, but your train manipulator doesn't. You don't really use the mining laser after a certain point. But I will take all this copper. Now let's see how our refiner's doing. Ooh, 390. Alright, chromatic metal, check. And we need to go in here, grab a ferrite dust. Should be able to do it. Ferrite's pretty quick. We're just going to have a bunch of pure ferrite dust and stuff. That way we can go back to the base and do the base things. because it's required. Ooh, you should pay attention. Probably gonna wrap up the stream here pretty quick anyways. A little something about me, I'm a bit of a Nebraska football fan, and since they are playing their bowl game today, it's about half an hour till kickoff. So by the time we get this base stuff done, we should be wrapped up for the day. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of progress, and I mean, it can take hundreds of hours to get an actual game completion. I think my first one was like 26 hours is what it took me to do it, but I rushed it. But yeah, I'll take all that. I could have just hit that thing over there. Okay, let's get off the planet, and we are going to go over to our home base planet. I think it's this one. Hot planet. Here's our base. One of these. Unknown planet. We don't even have our own galaxy, our starter galaxies not mapped. Wow. Well, detour. I guess I didn't go to all the planets here. The TriStar freaking solar system though, that's insane. What would you like? Quick way to get Korvac standing. You'll find a lot of cool stuff just pulsing around. You can actually find living frigates and stuff pulsing around certain solar systems. But we don't have the freighter yet, so kind of waiting for that. Careful, we're going to blow right past it. Ooh, there's a bunch of asteroids and stuff in the orbit. These are gold asteroids too, that'll come in handy. Little spiky ones. Platinum. Precious metals. The other thing is asteroid fields will basically respawn while you're in them, so be careful when you're doing a lot of mining up in space, because you can think you're perfectly okay mining stuff away, and then all of a sudden you're screwed. Land on this planet real quick. Ooh, this is an ocean planet. Means it has all kinds of horrors. Look at that thing. What is that? Yikes, spiders. Yeah, I shouldn't have come here. Right. Yeah, see how those are like doing that weird shark thing? There's 14 on this planet. Oh my lord. There's some underground and probably some water. Okay. Let's just head back to the base. It's probably for the best. Grab a bunch of materials while I'm here. Since I'm gonna fly out into an asteroid field, I might as well grab the materials, right? Yeah, see how it changes? Regens and moves. Cool. Where is the base? I seen it. There it is. Tritium hyperclusters. The cool thing about these is you basically can just analyze them. And they give you more tritium, so if you don't have a slot but you have a lot of them, you can do it that way. It is a storage container. We can put all these eggs away. How is my exosuit too? Because I said I had another egg ready to hatch. Tox protection module. And sure. Get that out of the inventory. Monthly tool is whatever. Mirror flying in. I just don't know which egg. Oh, it's just all the eggs. Chaotic aggressive, small industrious, large industrious, independent, unstable binding. Alright. I think we have everything we need for this now. Probably for the best to put it right there. Hire the overseer. Yeah. Cool. We need base building stuff. have a storage bay yet. I don't think so. I think that's something we need to go find. I don't know why that's like gross. Oh, it probably doesn't like the wall. Those are kind of meant for metal walls. Come out here and talk to the base computer, I guess. Ah, storage container, right there. Magnetized ferrite. Okay, so what we needed was storage container. Now, the problem is we need magnetized ferrite, which means we need pure ferrite, I believe. Yep. Get a bunch of this and we're going to throw down a storage box. Okay. The reason we want a storage box is we want to be able to pull stuff we don't really need. Fireworks launchers are cool, but don't really need them. So the downside of this is I can't really change inventories, so there's like a bunch of stuff in the Starship inventory that we need to move around. We're not going to build a Corvette right at the moment. Like all these eggs and stuff, we can just stick them in storage for now. The great organization nonsense. Alright, well, that make our inventory a little cleaner. So it wants us to hire an overseer. I want to go back to that other system. Which is the previous system. But, yep. This is the other system we discovered. So, anyways, guys, quick little run through there. We got a little bit done, not a whole lot. I mean, relatively speaking, this game is gigantic, so any progress is progress. But next time we will probably go ahead and finish out the system, get all the uploads done, try and find, at least get everything as known planets. We may not get any of the fauna done, we may get some of it done. But since the only thing we have to focus on for Quicksilver right now is basically the living ship, we'll go through that as we progress. But otherwise, yeah, this is Dregen. I have some plans for going through and actually getting this completed. Like I said, 25 to 30 hours. If you beeline for Artemis's story, you can pretty much get through this. But for now, I will see you guys next time. I wish everybody a happy new year, and I do hope that you guys all come back when next time we're streaming. We'll see how the views did. First video with the audio problems, we actually got 20, so there's that, but we'll see how this one does. Anyways, thank you guys all for coming out, and I hope to see you guys next time.